Thank you for this meeting, team, and of course, we're very happy that today we'll resume our diplomatic relations.
نشعر بقسوة الحرب الموجودة.
Lavrov, I mean, he's foreign minister of Russia, I think, since the birth of Jesus Christ. And since then, anything useful came out of his mouth. So let's not pay too much attention to Mr. Lavrov.
This is my video update on this Thursday afternoon, September the 25th. Coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Zelensky's interview to Axios. And in this interview, Zelensky, he said that he would step down as president of Ukraine once there is an end to the fighting. And he also said that speaking to Trump, that Trump gave him permission to launch missile strikes into Russia, and he even talked about Ukraine getting long-distance weapons. If we have long-distance weapons from the U.S., we will use it. That is what Zelensky told Axios, and he said that Trump is on board with all of this, according to the Green Goblin. And as he was speaking to Axios, he said that Axios asked him about long-range missiles hitting Moscow, and Zelensky said, "We're not terrorists, but the Kremlin, they better hide in bunkers." The reporter told. This is how it went down. The reporter told Zelensky, should the Kremlin start preparing bunkers? And Zelensky said, we're not terrorists, but yeah, they should get in their bunkers. That's what Zelensky told the reporter at Axios. Quite a statement, quite a threat from Zelensky, huh? I'm waiting for Dmitry Medvedev's response to these threats from Zelensky. What will Medvedev say in response to the Green Goblin telling the Kremlin to get in their bunkers? And all of this has the approval of Trump, according to Zelensky. So the New York Post, they put out an article with the title, "Trump's pro-Ukraine shift, a strategic move based on new intel showing Russian battlefield and economic losses." So according to the New York Post, a very reliable publication, the New York Post, they are, some concert or something is about to take place here. They're building a stage, putting up a stage down there. Anyway, according to the New York Post, they claim that Trump's U-turn on Ukraine, talking about how Ukraine can win the war with European Union and NATO support. They can get to 1991 borders, and according to Trump, maybe even further than that, maybe go all the way to Moscow. And so this U-turn is due to some intel that Trump received. And the intel told the President of the United States that the Russian economy is in tatters and that the Russian military is in tatters all around. So you know where this intel is coming from? According to the New York Post, very reliable sources that have told the Trump administration about the collapse of the Russian military and of the Russian economy. Very, very reliable sources. Those sources are, or at least are originating from, right? Because the New York Post is talking about people in the Trump administration who are familiar with the matter, but as you read the article, you understand that the original sources of this Russian military and economic collapse are coming from the Victoria Nuland Family Institute for the Study of War and from Yermak and Zelensky. That's right. Can't make this stuff up. President Trump's dramatic pronouncement Tuesday that Russia is a paper tiger is based on new U.S. intelligence that shows the Kremlin is spiraling towards economic ruin and battlefield defeat as a result of the invasion of Ukraine. So let me read you a little bit of this New York Post article, which references Yermak and Zelensky and the Nuland Institute for the Study of War. Let me find the quotes here. Here we go. The President of the United States is a person who will listen, but he needs to check, to compare, to speak with many people. And for me, this is absolutely normal, top Zelensky advisor Andrei Yermak said in an interview Tuesday. It's our job as the team of our leaders to speak, to consult, to repeat, to give the evidence, to exchange the information. Both Yermak and Zelensky himself stated Tuesday that Trump is coming to realize that Putin's claim of total superiority on the battlefield are fairy tales. So that's the Yermak-Zelensky advice that Trump officials are getting. Good source, Yermak and the Green Goblin. Who's your source? The Green Goblin? Very good source. Podolyak, a good source. I provide good information. Yes, you do, Mr. President. You provide the best information. And then we have this from the New York Post. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russia has gained very little land for the number of casualties its forces have taken in recent months. So, according to the NYP, this U-turn from Trump and the Truth Social post that he put out there is originating from information that is getting to White House officials, which is coming from the Institute for the Study of War and from the Ukraine government. That's what they're basing the Russian economic collapse and the Russian military collapse and Trump's post on Truth Social talking about these things. It's all Yermak, Zelensky, and the ISW, according to the New York Post. But that's if you believe Trump's post on Truth Social was the real deal. I personally believe that it was a whole lot of sarcasm, right? A whole lot of Trump telling the European Union and NATO, you know what? You guys have been telling me that you can win this thing and that Russia's economy is going to collapse and Russia's military is a paper tiger and that Russia is in a war economy. You've been telling me this for 8-9 months. I've based my foreign policy on what you guys have been advising me, and nothing has worked. But now I am going to leave it up to the European Union and NATO to finish this thing. If Russia is so easily defeated, you have my blessing, my green light to go ahead and finish Russia, win the conflict, win the war. As Trump said in his Truth Social post, who knows? Maybe you can even go beyond the 1991 borders, right? So go ahead and do it and stop bothering me about security guarantees and sanctions and unconditional ceasefires and stuff like that. If it is as you are describing it, then finish the conflict and declare victory. That's what I believe Trump's post was all about. But European officials, you know, they also are thinking like me and probably like you who's watching this video, because the Financial Times, in opposition, contrary to what the New York Post is reporting, the Financial Times is actually reporting that European officials are reading through Trump's post on Truth Social and everything he said on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, and their conclusion is that Trump is walking away from Project Ukraine, and he is looking to put the blame on Europe. They are saying that what Trump is doing now is a little bit of blame shifting. Yeah, that's what the Financial Times is reporting. European officials fear Trump is preparing to blame them for Ukraine failure. U.S. President sets block impossible condition to secure more Washington support for Kiev. Yeah, go ahead and finance Project Ukraine, European Union. Finance Project Ukraine, NATO. Provide the weapons. Go ahead, do all these things. You have my blessing. And defeat Russia. Go ahead and defeat Russia. That was what he posted, and the European Union officials say, well, this is impossible without the United States, but there was no mention of the United States in his Truth Social post. This is what's got them so bothered and worked up. Nowhere in his messaging yesterday did Trump mention that the United States is going to provide security guarantees or is going to provide money or weapons or put sanctions or tariffs or anything like that. No fly zones. Nowhere did Trump say any of this. So Trump gave nothing to them. All Trump said is European Union and NATO, go for it. Go at it. Go ahead. And this is worrying the European Union. And according to the Financial Times, European officials are seeing this as an impossible task. Without the United States, there's no way they're going to be able to defeat Russia. And it's all about blaming them for the loss that is coming in Ukraine. That is what Trump is looking to do. So anyway, that's the Financial Times. That's how they're reporting on everything that Trump said yesterday. The New York Post is taking a different approach to things, but I'm leaning towards the Financial Times, right? I think when you read that Truth Social post very carefully, it's pretty clear that Trump is looking to wash his hands of Project Ukraine and to blame the Europeans. Yeah, that's what's happening here. Absolutely. Now, that doesn't mean that the United States is not going to be involved in Ukraine. That doesn't mean that the United States military is not going to try and send weapons, whatever it can. It's run out of a lot of weapons, but whatever it can send, it'll probably send. I imagine the three-letter agencies will be more involved than ever. I imagine there'll be parts of the Pentagon that will be involved. There'll be parts of the deep state and the neocon factions that will absolutely be involved in Project Ukraine and try to stir up all kinds of trouble. But Trump, the man, the president, I think his goal is from an optics perception point of view is to not have the loss of Ukraine pinned on him. I think that's what it's all about. Just don't blame the loss on me. Okay? Okay. Let's blame it on the Europeans. Anyway, since we're talking about the Europeans, we got more drones in Europe over Denmark. That's right. More drones over Denmark. Massive amount of drones were flying all over Denmark last night. Drones have been seen by South Jutland police over military airbase, fighter wing Skristrup, which houses F-16 and F-35 fighter craft and other NATO bases. The drones just vanished as the police are not able to find them. And from France 24, drones were spotted over overnight Aalborg, Esbjerg, Sonderburg, and Skidstrup airports, forcing closures just days after similar incidents in Denmark, Norway. Denmark's defense minister calls it a hybrid attack by a professional actor. There you have it, guys. It's Zelensky. It's a hybrid attack by a professional actor. Who's the professional actor? Zelensky. It's either Zelensky or it's Trudeau, but it can't be Trudeau because Trudeau is not a professional actor, is he? I think he's a professional skier or he's a ski instructor. He's a ski instructor, and he's not a professional actor. The only professional actor I know is Zelensky. Macron's not a professional actor. He was an actor when he was in high school. No, it has to be Zelensky, according to the official in Denmark, the defense minister in Denmark. It was a hybrid attack by a professional actor. That's a direct quote. It has to be Zelensky. You know they want to pin this on Russia, absolutely. And I love how the drones just vanish. The military can't find these drones. They just disappear, man. They're just in the sky, and then all of a sudden, whew, they disappear. Magic. It's a professional actor, though. Okay. Anyway. Oh, they're trying hard. They are trying very hard to get some sort of a false flag going, some sort of provocation with Russia. Let's walk down that way. They're trying very, very hard. I don't think anyone's buying it. So Vanderleyen, Vanderpirate, she said that the EU is putting together a plan to shoot down Russian fighter jets. That is what Ursula said. They are putting together the plan, the policies, the procedure, so that next time Russian fighter jets travel to, say, Kaliningrad from Karelia, the European Union is going to shoot them down, or the European armies are going to shoot them down. Oh boy, shooting down Russian planes on the table, von der Leyen has said. Oh, let's pull up the quote from Van der Crazy. Do I have the quote? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Here we go. From Ursula. My opinion is we have to defend every square centimeter of the territory, von der Leyen told CNN on Wednesday. That means if there is an intrusion in the airspace, after warning, after being very clear, of course, the option of shooting down a fighter jet that is intruding our airspace is on the table. Look at all those qualifiers that she put in there. If there is an intrusion in the airspace after warning, after being very clear, of course the option of shooting down a fighter jet that is intruding our airspace is on the table. Yeah, of course, you always have the option, right? Every country has the option of shooting down something over their airspace. Every single freaking country has the option. They have a lot of options as an airplane passes over their airspace. Theater, man. It's all theater. What else? Politico says, hi, Donald. It's Ursula. Van der Leyen opens crucial hotline to Trump. The European Commission president appears to be winning the U.S. president's ear on Ukraine, but that comes at a price. Yeah, Politico is saying that Van der Leyen and Trump are best buddies now, because Van der Leyen is calling Trump all the time, and Trump is very happy speaking with Van der Leyen, and he continues to praise Van der Leyen as a great leader, and she's tremendous, and I like her. I like her a lot. Yeah, they're saying that Van der Leyen has done the impossible, and things were very, very tense with Trump and his relationship to Europe, but Van der Leyen has managed to sweet talk Trump. And now Trump is very warm to the European Union, and he gets along really well with Ursula now. But it comes at a price. You know what that price is? That price is that Europe has just about sold everything to the United States, or at least is saying that they're going to sell everything and purchase everything from the United States. $750 billion in LNG, $600 billion in investments. So that's the price. The price of having Trump like you is 1.5 trillion euros going to the United States, maybe, if the European Union even has that kind of money. Yeah, a terrible trade deal, the worst trade deal in all of history. That's the price that Europe has to pay for Trump to call Ursula tremendous. She's in another scandal, actually. She's embroiled in another scandal, Vanderleyen, and this time with Macron. And my understanding of this scandal is she made a deal with the Mercosur, with South America and Latin America. She made a deal with them, with the European Union, a trade deal. And Macron, I think Macron wanted to see what the deal was about, or wanted to see the messaging that underpinned the deal that Ursula had put together, this trade deal. And this time, Ursula's text messages, she didn't lose the text messages like she did with Berla of Pfizer. She didn't lose the text messages. This time, the excuse is that her messages auto delete. Yeah, they auto delete, so she can't provide Macron with transparency and the information that he wants about the trade deal that she put together with Mercosur. Van der Leyen's messages auto delete to save space on her phone, Commission says, using the disappearing messages feature also reduces risk of leaks, EU executive says. What a clown show, man. What a freaking clown show. I think it was for the Mercosur. I wonder if I have this bookmarked. Yeah, I have it bookmarked. And I think it was with Macron. Trying to see. Yeah, it was about text messages from French President Emmanuel Macron urging Van der Leyen to block the EU-Mercosur trade deal, first reported by Politico in 2024. And then she lost the text messages. Well, they disappear. She didn't lose them. They disappear. They auto-delete. The use of disappearing messages is recommended in Commission guidance called Checklist to Make Your Signal Safer from 2022. The European Commission defended Van der Leyen's use of disappearing messages on her phone, a feature that's erasing some of the EU's most politically sensitive communications. Any other company, if she was actually working in a proper company, she would have been fired for all of this stuff, man. For all of this stuff. Disappearing messages, losing messages. Jeez, man. Oh boy, so at the UN, there was a vote at the General Assembly, a vote to condemn Russia for the invasion of Ukraine. And boy, did the collective West fail. They failed big time. Only 36 countries voted in favor of condemning Russia. Only 36. It's way down from other General Assembly votes. Huh? I remember General Assembly votes, it used to be 40 or 45 or 50. This time now, it's 36. And my understanding of this vote is that even the United States said, no, we're not going to condemn Russia. What does that tell you? You see, Trump spends the whole day bashing Russia and laying into Russia and lashing out at Putin and mocking and ridiculing Russia, which is just a terrible thing for Trump to do, an absolutely terrible, terrible thing for him to do. And it really poisons the goodwill and the negotiations that have been taking place over the past, say, 4 or 5 months. Right? Completely blows all of that up. But anyway, that's Trump, right? But he does all of this, and what's the action that you see, though? The action that you see is that when there's a vote in the General Assembly to condemn Russia, the United States says, no, we're not going to condemn Russia. You see, Trump is bashing Putin, he's calling Russia a paper tiger, and it's in a war economy that's about to collapse, and all of these things, and Ukraine's gonna win the conflict. But when it comes to condemning them in the UN, nope, we're not going to side with the collective West. And the 36 countries that voted to condemn Russia is just pretty much the European Union, right? It's the European Union and the Five Eyes. There you go. That's the 36 countries right there. Not so isolated anymore, Russia, huh? Not so isolated anymore. So the Green Goblin spoke in front of the General Assembly, and no one turned up. No one turned up. Few people actually turned up to listen to Zelensky speak. Not like 2-3 years ago. I remember 2-3 years ago, Zelensky was packing the auditoriums, the General Assembly, the parliaments of so many countries. They were standing room only, right, for Zelensky to speak and to give his speeches. Now he shows up in New York. He speaks to the General Assembly. Maybe 5 or 6 people actually turn up to listen to him. When Trump spoke, it was full. The General Assembly was full. Everyone was there to listen to Trump. But to listen to Zelensky, not so much. Not so much. And you know who's the new star? The new star is Jolani. That's right. He is the star of the UN, of the General Assembly meeting. It is al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, one point in time, $10 million bounty on his head, Jolani. He has stolen the show from Zelensky. Everyone is in line to meet with Jolani. What a crazy, effed up, mixed up world. But yesterday we had the outgoing star meeting the new star. Zelensky met with Jolani. They met, they shook hands, and they restored diplomatic relations. So Zelensky meets Jolani, his Bizarro. Bizarro Zelensky meets Zelensky. You look like me. I look like you. Yeah, you look like me. Once upon a time when I wore a suit. Now I only wear these green outfits. Yeah, they actually met face to face, shook hands. Oh boy, it actually makes sense, man. You know, the whole Jolani thing and Zelensky meeting Jolani, all of it. The interview with Petraeus. It's just everything is kind of connected and come full circle in the neocon 3-letter agency wars and intrigues that we've seen over the past 20, 25 years. It's all kind of now come full circle, right? Zelensky meets Jolani. Anyway, Trump and Melania. Trump also met Jolani, right? Of course, everyone's lining up to meet him. Disgraceful, man. Absolutely disgraceful. Anyway, Rubio and Lavrov, they met. I mentioned that. They had a meeting. And a reporter asked Lavrov, how did the meeting go? And Lavrov's response to the reporter was he gave a thumbs up. He said, thumbs up, all good. Not much in the readouts from the United States, not much from the U.S. Readout. The Secretary Rubio reiterated President Trump's call for the killing to stop and the need for Moscow to take meaningful steps towards a durable resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war. That's what the U.S. said. The Russian side of things, pretty much the same. They didn't really say much about the meeting in the readout. They met for about an hour, 50 minutes plus. But that's it, the diplomacy that took place between Lavrov and Rubio. Let me see if I have a statement here. Lavrov emphasized Moscow's readiness to adhere to the line established by the Russian and U.S. leaders in Alaska, including coordinating efforts with the U.S. side to address the root causes of the Ukraine conflict. The root causes, the ministry said in a statement, adding that the top diplomat called out the unacceptable schemes promoted by Kiev and some European capitals aimed at prolonging the conflict during the talks. Yeah, the schemes are the fighter jets over Estonia, the drones over Denmark, Ursula's plane having to land in Bulgaria because of GPS jamming. These are the schemes that the Europeans are employing to try and sabotage the normalization of relations. So that's Lavrov's message. And of course, root causes, he says it again. It's all about addressing the root causes. Lavrov also met with Peter Szijjártó, the Hungarian foreign minister. And yesterday, Trump said he's going to call Orban and he's going to tell Orban to ditch Russian oil, right? That's what Trump said. Very, very nice of Trump, huh? He said, I'm friends with Orban. I'm good friends with Orban, and I'm going to call him up and tell him to ditch Russian oil. In other words, I'm going to call up my friend and tell him to destroy his economy. Very, very nice friend, that Trump, huh, to Orban. Victor, I want you to destroy your economy. And when you destroy your economy, that means you will lose the elections in 2026. And the EU puppets, who they already have ready to go, will take your place. That's Trump. And this is Orban, the one person in the European Union who stood up for Trump, publicly supported and endorsed Trump, while everybody else in the European Union, everybody else in the EU and in the West, in the UK, everyone else campaigned against Trump, openly campaigned against Trump and supported Kamala Harris. And the one guy that supported Trump is the guy that he is saying he's going to call and tell him to ditch Russian oil. Anyway, Siarto said it's not going to happen. He said it's not going to happen. Hungary is going to protect its national interests, Siarto said. So let's do one more quick story, and then we'll get to a clown world. How we doing on time here? Yeah, we're doing all right on time. Kind of want to cross over. Which way? I think I can cross over from that side. So there are reports from media in Poland which claim that the government of Poland and Sikorski wanted to give asylum to, what's his name? Was his name Sergei? Sergei or Vladimir? Vladimir Z. Yeah, that's the guy. That's one of the guys that was involved in the Nord Stream, allegedly involved in the Nord Stream pipeline bombing. And the government in Poland and Sikorski, they were ready to give him asylum, knowing that he was one of the people who allegedly blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's an interesting development. Let's see if I have some more information on that one. Here we go. Poland weighed asylum for Nord Stream bombing suspect. Foreign Minister Sikorski repeatedly said in conversation that he was prepared to grant asylum in Poland to one suspect identified as Vladimir Z, and even honor him with a state decoration. The paper wrote on Thursday. German officials questioned why Poland failed to act and the escape strained relations between the two countries. The Polish authorities argued that nothing has been proven against Vladimir Z, reportedly telling their counterparts, "Why should we detain him? For us, he's a hero." Interesting report from Polish media about the government and Sikorski wanting to grant him asylum. He's a hero. Thank you, USA. It lines up. It lines up. I don't know if this is true or not. Who knows if this is true, if this is rumor, if Polish media is making this up. But it was Sikorski who said, "Thank you, USA." Right? He was happy about Nord Stream being blown up. So it could make sense that this guy wanted asylum, and Poland said, "Sure, we'll give it to you. Why not?" But once again, these are just reports coming from Polish media. I can't confirm any of this. I'm just reading the news. Just reading the news as I get it. But Vladimir Z, huh? Vladimir Z. Who's a Vladimir Z? Vladimir Z. Zelensky. Professional actor. Professional actor. Vladimir Z. Man, something's going on, man. I think something is happening here. Something is happening. We're starting to connect some dots, huh? Professional actor with drones and Vladimir Z, allegedly one of the guys behind the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage, seeking asylum in Poland. Let's do a clown world and we can wrap up this video update. And in this clown world, we stay with the United Nations and Trump. He posted on Truth Social a very angry message, very upset with the UN. Trump is saying that he was deliberately sabotaged at the United Nations, not once, not twice, but thrice. 3 times sabotaged, and Trump demands answers. So do you guys know what the 3 times were? The first time was the escalator. Trump said that the escalator was working in his Truth Social post. He said the escalator was working, and then we got to the escalator and it just stopped. And he said the only thing that kept me and Melania from not falling down was that we were holding on to the handrails. So he said that was the first sabotage. He said the second sabotage was when he was giving his speech and the teleprompter went out. And Trump said, luckily, he was able to give his speech without a teleprompter, noting that he's only one of the few leaders who can actually do that. That's what Trump said. I'm one of the few leaders who can actually give a speech without a teleprompter. He's right about that. And the third time, I didn't know this. I was thinking 2 times he was sabotaged, possibly sabotaged. The third time he claims he was sabotaged by the United Nations was that people in the audience were not able to hear his speech. The audio was not working. So he said that when he finished his speech and he asked Melania, "How did I do?" Melania told him, "I don't know. I didn't hear a word that you said because the sound was not working. The audio was out." So people could only listen to his speech, according to Trump, if they put their earphones in with the translation and all of that stuff. The actual audio in the auditorium was not working. So Trump claims he was sabotaged 3 times. The White House posted, "I'm sending a copy of this letter to the Secretary General and I demand an immediate investigation. No wonder the United Nations hasn't been able to do the job that they were put in existence to do." And then he has the whole Truth Social post and goes through the 3 times that he was sabotaged and made to look really bad. 3 times sabotage, 360 degrees, 360 degrees. Who's the president of the UN General Assembly? I think that's the person that should take responsibility for this, right? This is the UN General Assembly meeting, and so at the end of the day, the person who is responsible for everything that went wrong during the General Assembly meeting, the events of yesterday, no doubt it goes to the president, right? That's how it always works. So I would say that you have to look at 360, Annalena. The buck stops with Annalena. She is El Presidente. So anyway, that's what happens when you appoint Annalena as the president of the General Assembly, right? All kinds of things go wrong. Now you know how Germany felt for so many years, or how the European felt for so many years, having Annalena with so much power. All kinds of things went wrong with Annalena in charge. Yeah. So anyway, she's the president. She is the president at the end of the day. So Trump, he also put together a presidential walk of fame, and he showed off this presidential walk of fame, and it has the photographs, the portraits of all the presidents of the United States. And then when it gets to the modern era of Obama, Trump, Biden, and then Trump, when you get to Biden, you don't have a portrait of Biden. What you actually have is a portrait, a picture of an auto pen. That's what Trump put in place of a picture of Biden. He put a picture of the auto pen. Man, that's brutal, man. That's just cruel. That is just cruel. Anyway, I think I will wrap up the video there. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble and Telegram and X, and go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like what I'm wearing in this video update. I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care.